I've been on mute this entire time and nobody has said a word to me in the chat. How dare you? How dare you? I blame myself, actually. I blame myself, man. It's all my fault. So what I did do is I did shout out our channel subscribers earlier. People like Andy, Hanny, T. Thank you for subscribing. Tate, Brangle, Daedra. Shout out to all my Naruto fans out there. Angelica, Rahane, Inha, Mila. Appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. Glad you're liking the content. We're going to be simulcasting as much as we can with the 5 Reasons Sports crew. You're not going to be able to watch the game, of course, because that would be copyright infringement on YouTube. But on playback.tv, you can watch the game with us. So we'll be over there. The link is in the description below. We're going to simulcast from the 5 Reasons Sports playback channel over to here on YouTube and just have like a podcast discussion. We're going to talk draft. Are the Celtics getting...
And Lee.
I just realized I have my screen still on my YouTube channel, so it's likely going to get demonetized.
Hate when that happens, right?
Right? It's all right. I can trim that out in post. I just thought about this, but then how am I going to actually watch the game? I have a, like a screensaver on in place where they can still hear you guys and our conversations, but then I won't be able to watch the game on my main screen. Yeah. It's not like there's anybody joining me at the moment anyway, because it's a Friday night.
Yeah, I was expecting low attendance for a Friday night. Celtics could win the championship playback on the Heat Network.
Right.
This is so awful. Like, just all of this.
It is. It's painful, actually. Absolutely painful.
The last 12 months have not been kind.
No.
Ever since Dame requested that trade. Ever since Miami lost the finals, really, for being honest.
It has been a cascading waterfall of bad news for the Miami Heat ever since they lost that finals. That's correct.
At least they got Hyman, though.
That's right. I was excited about that. Even going through that draft process whenever I was breaking him down and you really look at the fit for, what he brings and what he would bring to the Heat, like, it kind of became a no-brainer. It was like, this guy just fits. That's kind of what was my realization, especially once we heard the news that, like, from Greg and Ethan that Miami was high on him. It was like, this just makes sense.
I'll say it. I was not the biggest fan at the time of Hyman.
I didn't know what to expect.
And, like, I saw him a couple times in person, too.
Yeah.
But just relative to where they were at 18, like, there was other guys that I liked. But, hey, man, I can admit when I was wrong about that.
How'd those guys turn out?
Not good. There's a reason why I don't listen. Or I wouldn't. But, because at least the guy that I was in on was Prosper.
Klay Thompson heading to Orlando, folks?
It's a possibility. They have the cap space, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, there you go.
Have fun with that, Orlando.
They love guards. Give them all the guards. They'll draft more in this draft too. It'll be all guards.
How funny will it be if they get Clay and then like Dillingham? Just a bunch of like mismatched fits in the backcourt.
That would actually be hilarious because at this stage of Klay Thompson's career, who's guarding the high octane guy in the backcourt?
Suggs.
Right, Suggs.
Listen, man, they don't need Clay to defend. They need Clay to shoot the shit out of him.
I know.
Sometimes he can do that.
But they have 700 guards. What are you going to do with Anthony Black?
Trade Cole Anthony.
Would you?
You can trade Fultz. Yeah, I mean, he had a pretty good season.
I'm not too high on Anthony Black.
While they're at the peak of their value.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
Van Lee asks if I could translate the Panthers Kachuk trade in Miami Heat terms. I think Brian Goins did that already.
If
You check his
Miami
Twitter
traded
timeline.
Bam for another alien, that would be or at least if like Bam in the later stages of his career, you trade him because he's a homegrown talent, and you trade him for like you trade him for like a younger, also really good like all-star all NBA caliber player.
How about Jimmy for Donovan Mitchell?
You need more than
That-
that, though. You need more than that, though, right? More than just Mitchell. Getting
Well,
just
no,
Mitchell.
we're saying it like just the Kachuk trade.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't follow hockey.
Jimmy was a homegrown.
I don't
Jimmy
follow
wasn't a
hockey really
homegrown
either.
guy. Huberdeau was, I think. So I think that's where it's like that's why I say Bam. But like this would be like Bam at age like 34 or something like that. Like it wouldn't be Bam right now. But I mean, you could say Jimmy for Bam too, or Jimmy for Mitchell.
I kind of want to I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I'm sorry. My mind is like just the Heat could go 7,000 different ways, between the draft and this offseason that I just have no clue which way they're going to go.
Oh, I was trying to think about it. I was going on a walk the other night, and I was thinking about like, all right, what do the Heat like? How could the Heat in 1 year like build a team that's good enough to beat Boston?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I have no fucking idea. I was like, that doesn't mean they can't do it. I'm gonna stop thinking about this because it's just making me more.
It begins and ends with
makes you
Jimmy
laugh.
Butler. If Jimmy's Jimmy, they can do it quickly. If Jimmy's not Jimmy, it's just almost impossible with their cap situation to pull it off unless Pat Riley does some of his Jedi mind trick stuff and flips assets like nobody else can. I mean, it's the only way.
Van Lee, I could get down with that. With Podge,
Good shot,
Mitchell, Bam, and Jaime. That's fun.
It's fun. Does that get you far in the playoffs?
Wait.
Not really.
Where are we getting Pods from? Why is he trading? What kind of Golden State stuff are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know how we're getting him, so that's why I just said let's roll.
Yeah, that's my question. I was like,
It's a fun hypothetical.
And yeah, to your point, Adele, I don't know that it wins you a ton deep in the playoffs,
Right. Exactly.
but it's a fun idea.
It is.
if they trade Jimmy, listen. If we trade Jimmy for Pods, we're making a third straight plan.
Third straight plan. Oh, man.
If they don't get Mitchell, if they get Mitchell, maybe it's a little.
Luka needs to do that like all the time
Every
this
time?
game. Yeah. Just
I know I wasn't up here for game 3, but there were times where he was up against Pritchard, and he was just like foul baiting, and it's just like, yo, just go up with that. Like, why are you trying to draw the foul? Just go up with that.
yeah.
Jaylen Brown's
He's a
about
half
to
foot
win
tall-
himself
He's a
the
half foot
finals
smaller
MVP.
than you and like half your weight. Like,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that, Matt. We actually talked about that. It was one of the things I pointed out was like how difficult of a shot it is for him to make because he has no lift when he's trying to foul bait. So if he doesn't get the fouls, like he wasn't going to make it because he just doesn't have any lift at all. And
Tiny City said, "I kind of want this to end tonight." Honestly, me too. I'm sick and tired of thinking about this shit. Just we're prolonging the inevitable if Dallas wins tonight because they're not going to win Game 5.
Yeah, agree.
But the result of that is also Boston winning the finals, which is
disgusting.
It's awful.
Maybe Sleepy
No matter
Pat
what,
will
it's
wake
not.
up.
Sleepy Pat. Pat's so good at what he does, man. I don't.
What do you think
People
Jimmy
are
Butler's
laughable.
doing right now?
Not watching.
Playing dominoes somewhere without a shirt, smoking a cigar.
What percentage chance do you think like Jimmy Butler knows there's like the finals are still going on, like who's playing? Like obviously we know Ernie is locked into the finals because he's locked into every single time Jason Tatum stinks. But like, do we think Jimmy just has like headphones on? Like, does Jimmy even think the finals are still going on at this point?
Yeah. I think so. He may say he doesn't, but he does.
Right.
Listen, man, if I was Jimmy right now, I'd be getting
Over under on a country song playing while he's playing dominoes, smoking a cigar without a shirt.
It's pretty much over.
95% says Greg.
Oh, here we go.
The real test for Luke is going to be late in the game whenever that cortisone shot starts wearing off a little bit.
good screen there from Derek Jones. He
Heat culture.
gets the switch. Takes advantage. Now they're pre-switching with Derek White. I don't want that.
I mean, I'm fine with they pre-switch with Derek White and he takes him into the post. I'd be fine with that.
He ain't doing that from where he was at on the floor, though.
No. You give it up and run through, but, you know, that requires an offensive set. They're not running.
There you go. That's a good quick basket on the other hand.
Boston still seems like they're getting whatever they want.
Yeah.
Nice little push by Kyrie. I liked it. Let him know you're
They're
there.
Hunting Luka.
Oof.
Good defensive effort there.
I was very surprised. Yeah. Were we isolating Jaylen Brown and Derrick Jones Jr.? Did we do that?
Did he just airball a hook shot?
He
I
he
sure
did.
shit did that. Derek Jones may have.
I'm just saying, if the game's on the line, Luka's rolling, I'm not running a side pick and roll isolating Derrick Jones Jr. against Jaylen Brown. Just saying.
Season on the line.
Right.
I would take Iguodala. But that's just me.
Was there ever a guy in the NBA that looked like every time he put the ball on the floor, he was about to lose the ball more than Andre Iguodala? Like, he had a nice handle, but, like, it just appeared that way.
Every time I watch Brandon Ingram.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. B.I. is a good one.
Jaylen Brown is a good one, too.
But he does miss the ball sometimes.
He does. He hasn't lately, though. He might win a finals MVP in a minute.
He could. Yeah, he really could. Jason Tatum's definitely stinking up the joint. What is he averaging this series, Jason Tatum?
He's averaging, I think, pretty good numbers. Like, he had, what, 31 6-8 or something like that last game. Like
I refuse to look up Celtics statistics.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, I do kind of have a bet on it.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker.
I think my Miami Heat glasses just like tainted how I view his performance this series, to be honest.
That's fair. Tatum. Not as good scoring numbers, but 22, 9, and 7.
I mean, that's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah.
It's not good enough to win you Finals MVP. Did anybody watch Bad Boys yet?
Nope.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I was a little worried.
Yeah, Van Lee, I don't think Tatum is going to get it. I think Jaylen Brown gets the Finals MVP.
35% from the field is rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that bad when I looked at it.
Whew. It's hard to believe, actually. Like, somebody double check Van Lee's numbers. It's really hard to believe.
Well, 35.9.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
29.6% from deep, even though
Damn.
he's shooting 85% from the free throw line.
That is brutal. That's horrible.
Yeah, you'd have to go like nuts tonight for them to even consider it. I don't know.
That's bonkers to me. Sheesh. I never in my life again want to hear about the greatness of Jason Tatum before a broadcast. Like, please stop.
He's not a bad player.
No, he's not.
The finals haven't been good from a shooting perspective. I think he's impacted another.
Right, but has he ever truly been great? I don't know about that.
At some points, like Game 6 last year against Philly, or Game 7.
I'm talking about consistency. Like, he's never been a. This is what I'm saying. Like, they make the argument like he's a 1A.
Yeah, he's not a 1.
No. I mean, you can read into that as you will, don't it, Dan? This game, but
Dude,
like,
how long is this commercial break, yo?
I forget what series it was that we were watching. They felt even longer because their halftime stuff or in between break stuff was so bad that like.
I feel like I've checked my phone like 3 different times for notifications during this commercial break alone.
Yeah, it's rough.
Living in 2024.
I've been contemplating getting a video cam for my streams. I really want my content to be the content, but I've been debating about it. I know everybody's wondering.
You should do it.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
It's the evolution.
That's right. You got to add something to your game every summer, kids.
There you go.
But then I can't just relax any way I want on camera, and then I have to actually be camera
You do
ready.
have to be on to a different degree.
Yeah. It'll make me feel like I'm in a work meeting.
Right.
Wait. Did that just happen? How many
Did
does he
not
have on the
expect
year?
that.
What? Is there hope for Zach Edey?
Right.
Oh. Bronx Joker. No. I mean, that stroke didn't look bad, man.
No.
He literally was shooting 0% on the year 2024. That's wild. In an elimination game in the finals, he decides to pull one out. Did he even take one this year? I gotta look. That's a stat of the weird.
He didn't make one all year? Is that
No,
what you
that was
said?
his first one. He was shooting 0%. I don't even
Holy
know if he
shit.
took one. That's what I'm saying. Let me see if he's had one attempt at least. Let me go to Pro Basketball Reference. They'll have the attempts on there. No, he has not even attempted one. That was his first attempt of the year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that was just shocking and jarring to see.
He's outplayed Daniel Gafford in these finals.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that was
Nice
actually
move.
filthy.
I heard Zach Edey.
Whoa.
I told you, that if you say Zach Edey in a mirror 3 times, Matt Haney fan appears.
I appear.
No, we were saying, Matt, that Lively has not taken a 3 this year. And that was his first
I
one.
saw that. Yeah. That's
Nice back tap. Speaking of Edey, you can see that a lot.
I don't think you're selling me on it.
Oh, I'm not trying to sell you on it, man.
listen. I've been saying I'm trying to sell y'all so y'all can spare the pain when it actually happens.
Listen, I've been weeping quietly every night at the thought. So, I'm preparing.
Yeah, you've been steadfast on this, Matt.
He
that
has.
You think that's the way that they go, huh?
Well, I mean, I'm doing it more in like a jokingly way. People who don't follow me or know me, who haven't been talking about me with this stuff, like I'm not an Edey guy, but I've joked around with people like in Discord, and obviously outside of Discord, that like Edey's just gonna be the pick, and like I don't know, it just feels like. I mean, to some extent, it does feel like a Heat thing, and like yeah, it goes. No one projected, or no one thought, or whatever the case is. I'm trying to prepare people just in case.
That's your civic duty.
Yeah. And then I know how much shit I'm gonna get if it actually does.
Oh, man. Dude, it's going to rain down on your head like a freaking hurricane. Let me tell you.
It's not even just gonna be like on draft night, or like it's gonna be like forever. So. But it's gonna be really funny if he actually turns out to be good on the Heat. If that actually does.
For sure.
I hope we don't have to find out.
Me neither.
Me neither, because goddamn, this draft night can be brutal for Twitter. Oh man. And I think the only guy who's like mocked him to Miami is Wasserman. Maybe.
Yeah, Wasserman does some interesting things. We'll put it that way.
If don't all draft guys to some extent, like all of us have weird shit. Like I saw a big board today from like a guy who does draft work who had like Judah Mintz in the top 5. What are we doing, though? Like, doesn't everyone have their just those couple of guys who are just It's so just out of the ordinary relative to the consensus.
I think that a lot of people that need to create content each week create content, whether they believe in the content they've posted or not. I can't do that. That's why I'm making one big board and one mock draft. Like, that'll be it.
Hey, listen, people create content, but like, if you have Judah Mintz in your top 5, you probably believe in that content. Regardless of, because guess what? If Judah Mintz turns out to be a stud or like an average role player, that dude's gonna be throwing receipts at people like it's nobody's business. And again, that's not it. Judah Mintz, if you're watching this, it's not a disrespect to you, but like you're not.
But a little bit.
But a little bit.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the people who do that shit to some extent believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
You hit him with the all due respect. But with all due respect, I say
with all
this.
due respect, you're not a top 5 player in this class. No.
And if you're not a top 5 player in this class, anyone will fill in the blank?
He could be 6.
You won't be top 5 in any class.
In any class.
I'll try to find it and send it to you later, though. But like, I was like, what?
Please do. I'd be very interested to see. But like,
I saw it on Twitter.
Judah Mintz isn't even in the top 65. Seriously. Go look at the consensus big board. He's not even on the top like 65. And I actually wanted to believe in Judah Mintz. I've read about Judah Mintz, and I was like, I'm going to turn on this tape and see this guy. It's going to do these great things. And I had to turn the tape off. Not because I don't like the guy personally, but just it was an interesting tape.
Doesn't sound like I've been missing anything.
No, the way it was described to me in this article that I read, like in the before the college season started, like maybe a week into the college season, he said, "Are you talking about Junior Mintz?" Oh my god, don't it, Dan? But anyway,
I found it. I'm sending it to you on Twitter now.
All right, cool. I'll check it out. But yeah, week into the college season, they're like, oh, Judah Mintz has finally shed those allegations of being too small and being too skinny and all this with his slithery, smooth dribble, you know, left and right game. And I didn't see any of it on tape. I was wondering where it was at. So I was just a little confused.
Uh-oh.
Did Luka get a steal?
Luka getting stops on Drew Holiday?
And then sunning him in the post?
Oh. So how does Dallas blow this game?
How does Boston go down or get tied up at 3-3 because of this game? I'd like to talk about that.
Could you imagine if Dallas was the first team to come back and did it?
I would lose my mind, and it would be perfect because it's on Boston. It would be perfect. And Luka would become a legend, or he'd be a legend instantly for doing it. Come on, Lively, you gotta make that. You gotta make that.
Shooting threes, but missing that one, huh?
Right? Just go up and dunk it too. It's not like he was rushed or anything. Like he could have just gathered and went back up.
Bronx Joker, 3 teams if you include themselves.
Ooh.
That was great use of the shoulders to get to the bucket.
If Portland includes themselves in it, it's 3. That's okay. That's fair.
Does anybody complain more than Jason Tatum after pushing off? Like,
the guy who has the ball right now complains more than anyone in the league.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's a tie. We'll give him a tie.
I don't think Tatum does do it a lot, but I don't think he's not like screaming at the refs with the vitriol that Luka does.
That's a good point. But my point is the push off first and then the complaint. You see what I mean? Like Tatum pushes off, and then complains. Like
yeah,
Luka just complains.
Tatum also like points at the ref too sometimes. Like usually like point at him like after like missed a call or something like that. Like
that's true too. It's a good point.
But other than that, it's more of just like he's not like screaming in the ref's face or anything. Like he may say a couple words or something, but he's not. It's not like over the top emotional outburst from him, even though he does do it more than we probably think.
All right, I've stopped looking at this list already. This list, I literally want to throw my phone through a window.
Dude, I saw that earlier today, and I was like,
it's crazy. He's got Ron Holland 2, DeRon Holmes 3.
I've seen Ron Holland in people's top spot.
He can be top 5. He has him second. He's got DeRon Holmes third as his best big men in the entire draft outside of Sarr. That doesn't make any sense.
That's bad.
Hey, man.
Baylor's Shireman number 9 over Dalton Connect?
Whether we agree with him or not, let me just put this out there. Whether we agree with him or not, considering someone who does like draft stuff all year has that as like their big word or whatever, that leads me to believe some teams in the NBA, whether it's Miami, whether it's Golden State, whether it's Charlotte, Washington, whatever, they probably have a couple scouts in their room who have like crazy projections on some of these players that like none of us like. It may not be like a team-wide consensus, but there are probably organizations in the league with scouts in the room or people who do this shit for a living, like with crazy ass takes with some of these prospects.
He's got Blake Henson at 24.
That's why we see some guys go earlier than not and later than not, whatever the case is. Like that's there's probably something to that. So like
he's got Blake
like
Henson.
Adam Simon with Nico.
Blake Henson, 24. Not Bub Carrington. Blake Henson.
Josh Green.
I don't know. I understand what you're saying, Matt. Not every, teams are going to have crazy intel, different boards where they value different things.
And that's also like, you also factor in like interviews and team fit, their relationships and stuff like that. So like, there's more of a human aspect to just watching these prospects. Like these guys do, and like the workouts say something too. But like again, there's probably like scouts in like early April before all that shit happens, being like, "Yo, we ever heard of that Adam Bona guy? I have him like 7."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
is Nikola Topic?
It ain't Miami.
Is Nikola Topic the 20th best player in the draft?
Definitely.
No. Is he that low? Is he the 20th rated prospect on your board? Nikola Topic.
Hell yeah, he is, because that means Miami's gonna take.
It's crazy to me. It's Trey Alexander at 19.
Wow.
Oh, Derek White. What if I had this? This is gonna be for deep cut for people out there. What if I had Keenan Blackshear, like 15? What would you say?
I'd be shocked.
I'm just kidding. I actually don't have a big bone. He's number. He may be 15 on my board or wherever he's at. He'd be number 1 in my heart.
There it is.
Yeah.
Has Kyrie showed up to this game yet? Even? Nope. Doesn't need to.
Jay Washington is here.
I was gonna say you may not need to.
That list is crazy. I'm glad you sent that to me. I might make a whole live stream out of that. Like that's wild.
Okay. I'm not trying to get you or anyone in trouble.
Maybe it was written by artificial intelligence.
I'm just kidding, dude. I would never take anything that you guys share with me in confidence and make content out of it. I'm just messing with you, man. So yeah, don't take what I say with a grain of salt with that.
I think you should do it.
I think I should do it. Put Matt's name on it.
That's gonna be our Sunday night playback.
That list, that big board.
Yeah,
That
big
would be
board's
funny.
like, okay, let's dissect this.
Let's dissect this. Have you heard of Blake
Or like-
Hinson?
What do y'all think of Jack Gokel?
Golkey,
Gokel,
Sniper.
sorry.
He's a sniper. Yeah, straight sniper, but he's
undrafted guy, but he's a goddamn sniper.
definitely an
Yeah.
undrafted guy. Yeah,
He took what 8 twos the entire season,
that's wild.
like 200 shots.
Wild.
Yeah. Oh man. Listen, man, the fact that he made it, I don't even remember like what was it, like high 30s, low 40s. The fact that he made it at that clip with that high of volume from three is crazy. Cause like you knew game like 16, that was on everyone's scouting report ever. Like,
Right.
yo, these 5 actions, they're gonna run it every time, and he still gets 8 of them suckers up a game. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's knocked down 4 or 5. You know, like.
It's a lot of running, man. When you have a guy that does that,
Yeah.
it is a long day for you. You have to really, really run your butt off.
So do y'all think it's a done deal that Paul George is going to Philly now that he was sitting up there with Embiid tonight?
I think so.
I don't know. Could be.
Especially whenever you're talking about, money being involved and all that. Like, he wants his money. Players, it's a players' league, man. They're going to go for that money if that's what they really value. Of course, everybody values money.
Wait, was Embiid really talking about the CBA? Oh, I kind of want to hear this.
Really? That's actually funny.
I wonder if like Daryl Morey sat down with him, being like, "All right, this is what I want you to say about the CBA." How many of these players really know about these CBA rules?
Probably not enough of them.
I was gonna say it's not gonna be a very high percent. Because I don't think most players want to get involved with like the business side of things. They're like, I'll let my agent or guys who that's their job to take care of that, not me.
I know they all hate the 65 game minimum rule for MVP. They all hate it. Anybody disagree with that?
No. And I think teams are going to hate it for different reasons.
Listen, man, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. And without the 65 game, like if there was no 65 game minimum, he wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have rushed back from injury.
Right. Yep. It's true.
So that again, take that for what it's worth.
Indiana is going to be good, Van Lee. You're right about that. They have flexibility to add to that roster too.
Yeah.
I can tell you one team that's not going to be, or that is happy probably about the 65 game minimum is Miami. Because Pat was like, Jaime 65 or 75 games. Love that guy.
Right. No, but he actually said it in the press conference that he doesn't like it because it almost gives guys an authority to take off that many games to just reach
Right.
that threshold.
He doesn't like it for the reasons that we don't think he doesn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your goal shouldn't be 65. Your goal should be 82.
Correct.
Pat's like,
Yeah,
I want
that's what he
82
was
game
getting
rule.
at.
Yep.
I don't know how succinct he was in his delivery, but that's what he was trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
I want an 82 game rule.
I mean, because NBA players' contracts are fully guaranteed, organizations really don't have as much power, over these types of things. And that's, I'm always going to side with the players, though. So
Yeah. Me too.
I'm reading this next question. Without the 65 game rule, what is the minimum games players would have to play for you guys to put them in the conversation for awards? 65 kind of makes sense. I just wish guys wouldn't milk it down to just being 65. Maybe that's just independent to Miami.
I'm doing
What do y'all
some
think,
math
70?
right now. I usually keep like if there's a 6 as the first number at least.
69.
Like 60 game.
nice.
Like 60 games for me, and I just did the math. Roughly 2/3 or 3/4 of the season's like 61, 62, like in between there. So I think that's like a fair percentage, at least 60 games. That's usually been like my rule of thumb. Like 60 is a good goal to have, even though like Jimmy played 60 this last year, and it felt like he missed more time. But
Forgot to hit my.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, guys are going to get hurt. And just because you got hurt doesn't mean you couldn't have been the MVP of the league that year. So I think 60 some odd games is a good spot to be, you know. And I don't think it should be really a hard and fast rule either. Like, if a guy plays 25 games, no, obviously not. But if a guy does play well over half the year, of course, yeah, I think he should be in the running. Like,
yeah, whether he gets the award or not.
Correct. I got one for you guys. If you could eliminate one rule, change one rule in the NBA, what would it be?
I've been on record with this, I think, on playback, and I hammered it home throughout the regular season and when we watched FIBA. Like, when the ball's hanging on the rim, like, I feel like in the NBA, like, I want to steer more towards the FIBA rule of, like, you can either, like, hit it off or tap it in.
I'm with Donut Dan. Let him hand check.
Hand
Hand
checking
checks.
would be great. Yeah, hand checking, bringing that back would be awesome.
Didn't we kind of see, like, we saw, like, a little bit of a shift toward that. Maybe not that specifically, but the second half.
Yeah, they definitely let him play more in the second half, that's for sure. But hand checking is not a bad thing whenever it comes to offense. If an offensive player is fundamentally sound and knows how to actually play, like, that's not a bad thing. When they eliminated hand checking, it just allowed people that were better athletes and less skilled to be able to excel because they wanted more points. And so,
also, like, the foul grifting of, like, when you have dudes in jail or, like, on your back hit,
yeah,
you just, like, jump into them, and that's, like, they tried to eliminate that, but with the league, they'll enforce it for, like, 8 games.
right.
And then they'll be like in February, like, no one's gonna remember that, no one's gonna give a shit about it. Like, players are still gonna do it.
But there's a nuance to that. Like, whenever you stutter and you get somebody on your hip coming off a PNR, you just stopping, regardless of what your intent is. You can't not call a foul because someone stopped. But jumping backwards or sideways into a player, I agree with that. Because what are you supposed to do? Like, seriously, what is the obligation of the offensive player? If I get you on my hip and I'm, like, sprinting and then I stop and you run into me, how's that my fault?
Because players will flop to the ground anyway, whether they're off balance or not. I guess that's my biggest problem.
I get what you're saying, but it's not on me to be in control of your body.
Well, yes, but it's my control for me falling to the ground when I don't need to fall to the ground, and then
I'm not talking about
the
that.
player could do foul.
But this is what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying like, I would rather it just be like nothing. Like, just don't call it.
You can't do that. Like, you can't do it because I'm going to tell you why. Like, specifically when I played against better athletes and bigger players, I would do this all the time because if you have a guy sprinting full speed to catch up to me, the only way for me to stop them from blocking my shot was for me to slow down and stop and then continue with my momentum, because they're going to run into you or they have to stop. But if you give them free reign to just run through a guy or hit them in the back, you have no chance at scoring over these athletes or scoring amongst these athletes if you're a smaller player. Like, it's just impossible. You used to do it a lot in the league with Steve Nash. He wouldn't flop, but he would beat his defender on the PNR, come to a jump stop, and then finger roll it or pass or whatever. If you eliminated that foul from that guy hitting him, he would never score, because guys would full sprint and just pin his stuff off the backboard.
I just want to eliminate the offensive player's flop.
The flop. Yeah, I agree with that. I want to eliminate the flopping for sure.
That's my point. Like, I just want to eliminate.
I want to eliminate the flopping and the push-offs on the if they called offensive fouls for these push-offs, you know what I mean? You would have defense in the league again. But it's really hard to play defense when these guys can push off.
Yeah. It's hard enough as it is. That's what bugged me about the block charge thing. Like, I'm so far into, like, just keep the charges.
Yeah, the block charge thing's ridiculous. It's not a harmful play. It's not well, you're hurting someone. Be in control of your body. You are an athlete. Right. This is the thing.
Like that, I remember tweeting about this a while ago, but like, we need to teach players how to land.
Right.
And listen, I'm not a genius. I don't know how exactly you would teach that part of it, because there's so much like biomechanics and everything and stuff that I just don't know. But like, there's certain players in the league where every time they jump, no matter how they land, no matter like what it is, I'm just terrified. Like, John Morant's a great example.
Well, he does ridiculous stuff that you shouldn't be doing. So.
Right. But like, every time he jumps in the air, I'm like, I don't know. At least if I were a Grizzlies fan, I would be like, I'd hold my breath for a second.
Yeah.
Because the dude just, he got injured this last year, but for the most part has been healthy for his career. And so maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, but I don't know. I feel like he terrifies me every single time he jumps.
So the thing with Ja is he's not a big guy. So like, when he gets airborne the way he gets airborne, there's nothing, there's not a lot protecting that guy, because he's not very big. He's got the athleticism of like a Michael Jordan, but he's only like a point guard body. Like, it's a little different when you're going up against big guys like that, because if you clip them, it's physics. Like,
yeah.
There's my least favorite player in the league.
Ja Morant?
Peyton Pritchard.
Oh, okay. Peyton Pritchard. There we go. Not a fan either. I hear you.
Are not a fan because he's on the Celtics? Like, what?
Celtics and just annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, like,
punchable face.
You think he's bad, or like,
I don't think he's great. He's not like, not. Oh my God! Here comes Peyton Pritchard.
He's not. Yeah, he hasn't been good these playoffs, but I think he's like a decent goal player.
Serviceable. He's serviceable.
At least on this team.
Yeah.
He does his job.
I never told you guys my rule I would eliminate, and this one is a pet peeve of mine, and I don't get a lot of people to agree with me, but it is people who get injured before the season and then the next year they get called rookies. It bothers me to no end.
Oh yeah. Listen, I wouldn't hate it.
If I have a full off season to train,
revoke a couple.
Right.
As a professional.
Right. He's a professional. You have professional trainers, professional dietitians. You're in the gym 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to class. You're not worrying about anything. You are a professional. Professional masseuses and, strength and conditioning. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here with that.
Agree. The chat agrees too, it appears.
Ooh, I like it. It is such a huge advantage. 5 greatest rappers alive, Bronx Joker, is Dylan, 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 and Dylan. I spit hot fire. That's a great point too, Ryan. That is a great point. You've signed your contract. Now you got money you did not have in college. I mean, NIL's kind of changed that.
I was gonna say NIL's gonna
I'm
shut
old,
that down
man.
real.
You know what I'm. This was before NIL.
Coleman Hawkins is like, I'm getting $2 million, dog.
Right. That's crazy.
Where is he getting that from?
Great Osabar is like, look at me.
I don't know. I got to look it up. Who is his NIL deal with?
I don't remember.
Where's he going to school?
Kansas State.
Got it. Oh, that's what they just. Now I know the prospect you're talking about.
Yeah.
That just came out.
He
right?
was in this cycle, but he took his name. I would too if I'm getting $2 million.
It doesn't say who it's with though. It just says an image and likeness deal, but with who?
As someone who's dealt with college athletics before, they try to keep that shit pretty private, unless it's like a really big name brand with a really big name athlete. And I don't think Coleman Hawkins is one of those guys that is like a big name athlete.
Why do you think
they'll keep that stuff under wraps, or at least I guess it depends on the program. It depends on the athlete sponsorship.
Well, just help me understand as a sponsor that I'm paying $2 million to an athlete. What am I? What if you're not telling us who the sponsor is? Like, where's the brand awareness coming from? I'm confused.
Exactly.
Anybody
I have that
know
same
why
question.
Wooga Poplar transferred?
No, I have no idea.
I'm gonna look that up.
He was on my list to scout too for this draft, and then when I found out he wasn't going to be in it, I just stopped
Oh,
looking.
he's from Philly.
Philly.
He went to Villanova, so.
Oh.
I have that same question, Adele, but like I've dealt with it on like on a much
Whoa.
like trying to,
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. I never even really looked into NILs like that, so that's interesting. I never knew that. I learned something today.
Again, it just depends on the program. And I don't know if it's like the business is afraid of backlash if the athlete isn't the best athlete or something like that.
Right.
They're sponsoring them or something like that. Like I don't know the ramifications of stuff like that.
It's interesting. That landscape's going to be forever changing now that like players are like unionizing and they're like, okay, fine, you're employees, and like it's starting to become a really weird space.
I feel like there is something though, like for some schools, if they do something big, like the entire team gets this, that, and the other thing from us.
Right.
And they want the notoriety and stuff, and so maybe they would leak that. Like, okay, yeah, you can tell,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You can publicize that. Like, I don't know what that would look like, but I'm sure there's some give and take.
Yeah, I mean, that's much more than the NBA minimum for a rookie deal.
Yeah.
And you play less games, so it's actually more money. It is.
Coleman's gonna show up to practice like, yo, I just made, I don't know,
You want your how many games?
$100,000 in this game alone.
Right. Well, it's more than that. How many games a college season? Like 20, 22, 25?
Well, yeah, no, it depends on like the term.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though.
You're probably looking at 25 in like a regular season. 25 to 30.
Sheesh.
Or something like that.
I mean, it's $80,000 a game. You're right. That's crazy. Anybody want to ride?
Awesome. Dallas is winning this game.
I love it. Let's go. Keep it going.
Boston's going to win in Boston.
Are we on stage? Of course.
Yes.
Greg is doing a running monologue by himself.
I'm catching up on ridiculous emails.
I bet, man. There's a lot of those. Thinking about rolling out a hoodie I made up. I got this Draft Sicko hoodie. It's sick.
It says Draft Sicko on it.
Right on the front. I love it.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's funny. Donut Dan.
Donut Dan is like probably one of the funniest people in your community.
Yeah. And he's consistent. Always here.
Absolutely.
He's a real one, for real. Yeah, I think it's Biggs Bronx Joker happening tomorrow.
Yeah, we're doing bigs tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I am excited. I am super excited because of the news that was in the Off the Floor Discord. Shameless plug for you guys.
Yeah. I'm leaning big man with the pick of some kind.
Yeah, Misi and Bonet with the Heat jerseys on in a picture.
Now we just need to hear about a Filipowski workout. Surprised Jared McCain hasn't been worked out by the Heat yet, or at least we don't know it.
Right.
Because he's just falling right in that range. It doesn't make much sense that he wouldn't get a look.
Speaking of Jared McCain, that list that Matt sent me.
Where's he at?
Jared McCain is not even in the top 30.
Jeez. Sam Vicente was talking about how Jared McCain is a better rebounder than Tristan Da Silva, and that was kind of eye-opening. I didn't realize.
Yeah, McCain does more than people think.
I'm not sure that's a complete knock on the Silva, but just you're looking at the hype.
But
I don't know
McCain,
if I would agree with that though. I think the Silva's.
you think Da Silva's a better player than McCain? Is that what you
Yeah, I was just saying rebound.
Oh,
But
Yeah, that was the
yes, I do
specific
think,
stat
I
that
do
came
think he's
up.
a better player.
yeah. No, I could see that. I mean, I could see how circumstance. No, actually, I still can't. 6'8", 6'9", that's a rough. That's rough. That's actually a rough stat, actually. I need to dig deeper into that. We need to dig deeper into Da Silva's rebounding. Why do you say, Matt, that could be deceiving? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on why you're thinking that could be deceiving.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's deceiving. I just don't think that, like from what I saw, maybe I didn't watch every Da Silva game, nor did I watch every McCain game. But I just
Right.
felt like he was more active on the glass. His numbers may suggest. At least I just felt it more. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Donut Dan asks, is there any player that they would want to make? Like this is a Da Silva. Like I guess that's like one of my top guys. Just
No, when you're talking about a guy falling,
maybe like if we're talking, if we're talking
and
about
I
like
guess he
guy
didn't
falling,
ask me, but he asked y'all.
Topic.
Topic, yeah. If Topic fell, that's a game changer.
How about Dalton?
Oh my God, I'd love it.
Ooh,
Love it.
He fell.
If he fell,
Yeah,
I'd love it.
I would do that.
I don't see any
I would
way it
do that.
happens, but I love it.
Yeah.
Give me 1 sec.
I'm trying to think who else could potentially fall. Topic is a good one.
Holland would be interesting.
Yeah.
Holland would be really interesting in Miami. I was thinking about that the other day. Like his athletic pop, in addition to like what he does defensively, already makes him intriguing. Like I know that he don't care so much about shooting, and like he was a bad shooter from distance with the G League Ignite. Even though I didn't like hate his form or anything. He just wasn't a good 3-point shooter.
Talk about
He
Holland.
was a decent. Yeah, Holland. Like I don't know. I feel like if Spo got his hands on him, like he may not contribute like right away. But I feel like he'd be someone who, if you just give him like just some time, he would eventually blossom into something that I think would really pop.
If Holland falls to 15, you take him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He's only 19 years old, and he's 6'8", versatile, plays defense, good in the open court.
Right, that's what I'm. Right.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
take him.
that type of athleticism with the point of attack defense. Yeah, it's not scoring.
I mean, he
that's
can
something that would
score
be
though.
like-
He can score.
Well, more so the shooting, I should say.
Yeah, the pure 3-point shooting, right? No, he's
Yeah, like
work in
that's not.
progress.
Maybe that's not there. That's a work in progress. But just the other traits would just make it really intriguing from like a potential upside standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if he's a secondary ball handler more than a primary ball handler, his playmaking's enough. Even though his IQ needs work. But again, at 19 years old, getting a top 10 talent to fall to you at 15, heck yeah, man. You can't pass that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
The kid out of Miami, George, how do you say his first name? Is it Kashan?
That's how I pronounce it.
I was gonna say just Kaishan, but I don't know if that's the right one.
I'm going Kashan George. For instance, Kevin O'Connor's mock draft has him 29. Then I'm looking at CBS Sports mock draft, and they have him going 11th to Chicago. And he got a green room invite.
Yeah, here's the thing about Sean. He is a knockdown 3-point shooter, but he's also just a knockdown 3-point shooter. Like, his defense is okay.
So he's like James Jones?
Right. But very young.
Hashtag Duncan replacement. I mean, what?
He's got wingspan. So he's got traits, right? Like, you know how these organizations are. They're like, I can make this guy into a greatest player. You know what I mean? Like, they can project. And so he's a big risk, high risk, high
has a
reward
low
player.
floor. If it goes bad,
It could go real bad. Yeah, it could go real bad. Because he's only got one trick at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be a good fit, Miami.
He's 3 years away from being a player you would put on the floor, night in and night out. I don't know about heavy minutes for Swider. I don't see that at all, Vanley.
I don't. Yeah.
No.
Listen, man, some would have to go catastrophically wrong, which after what we saw this year, I can't rule it out.
I think one of the undrafteds could come in and take his spot.
I think he could get minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't know about heavy minutes. Define heavy minutes for me.
Think about all the shooters that are going to be undrafted. Like all the players. Like, let me ask you this. Actually, let me put it to you this way: is Cam Spencer, if he goes undrafted, does he do more things for you than Cole Schwider?
He has the psychopathic mentality. That's
Yeah. Does somebody like Antonio Reeves, if he goes undrafted?
I was just looking at something. I was just gonna mention him.
Yeah.
But I was like, he still actually might get drafted.
He could get drafted, yeah. even Poulin, right? Like, because Cole Swider only does one thing. In all of his call-ups where he's played in actual NBA games, he's had I wouldn't call it stage fright. I don't want to speak for him.
I'll push back on that. Again, might be me being like the G League weirdo guy. He did rebound at a much higher level this year than he has in past years.
Okay, but what did he shoot?
50% from three.
In his Heat games?
Oh, in the Heat game. Oh,
No, in his call-ups. This is what I'm talking about. Not G League. I'm talking about in the big show where the lights are bright and the pressure's on, and he knew he needed to shoot to keep his job. He wasn't hitting shots.
Yeah, but you're getting 3 minutes a game, and you're playing once every 10 games.
That's how you keep getting more minutes, though.
Like that?
But that's how you keep getting more minutes. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. You can't be like, no, coach, I'm a starter player. I need to warm up to it. You got to come in and perform.
You got to come in and perform, but I'm not expecting him to do it because it's such a small sample, and it's every once in a while. Like
when Duncan got called up,
I feel like if you gave him more consistent, I mean, not saying he deserved it, but I'm saying if you gave him more consistent minutes, I feel like you would get better results.
But you can't because of he's a defensive liability, so you can't.
I'm not saying you should.
Right, but this is my point. Like, he's never going to have the opportunity to warm up to it because he's a defensive liability. So he's got to be that microwave.
He may not. He may not get that opportunity.
I mean, if he fixes his defense, which can happen, it can happen. But as he is currently constituted, he's got to hit shots for you to be able to get anything out of him.
Tiny, so you're talking about Cole Swider.
Londus Williams.
He shot the living piss out of it. Best shooter I've ever seen with the Skyforce.
Who's Swider?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. And this has been my thing with him. He has shown in the Summer League he can flat out shoot it. Sioux Falls, he can flat out shoot it. When he's called up, nada.
That's true. But that switch can be flipped all of a sudden because I think it is mental.
It is mental. You're 100% right, Greg. 100%.
Right. Preseason too, I think he showed a little bit.
Yeah, he showed a little bit in preseason. Yep. But here's my thing. Undrafted guy comes in, right? Shows you he can do more and can still shoot it at a high clip. What do you do?
Yeah.
I don't think he's proven enough to like say that, oh, he's a big part of our developmental pipeline necessarily.
Right.
So he's got low shelf life or short shelf life.
Absolutely right. His expiration date is rapidly approaching.
Yeah, because you either got to shoot like Duncan and Max did or do
Boom.
other things, and those things haven't happened yet.
Now Greg is spit. That's fire. That's exactly right. Because Duncan, Max, they came when they got their opportunity. They made the most of it. The next guy up to prove that is really Alondas, right? Like,
yeah. What's this trade that you just shared here? This dude hates me. Alex Sheltman.
Gray hates the trade because he hates the person who created the trade.
I can't read the trade, but that dude.
What the fuck is this? Okay, hold on. Excuse my language.
when people do these type of trades, my brain breaks and I just stop paying attention. So
DeJounte Murray, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Alex Caruso going to Miami. The Heat are trading Rozier Jaquez, a first-round pick hero.
What the fuck?
Why would the Heat do that?
Why would the Hawks do this?
But which guy is better than Jaime? Which guy is better than Jaime?
That's what
no, hold on. Let me say this again. It's a 5-team trade.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Alex Caruso are all going to the Heat.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray's not getting traded alone for Rozier, Hawkins, a first-round pick, and Tyler Hero. Or maybe he is, with one other piece.
Yeah, I don't really even like it for Miami.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that trade actually at all. I need somebody more game-changing than that. If I'm trading all that, Jaime and picks and stuff.
But you are getting DeJounte.
Okay.
And Caruso. And like the valuation for Caruso, listen, Chicago may want Miami, just want to buy Miami's team for what their price is for Caruso.
Yeah.
So I don't that's what I'm saying.
I'm not a big DeJounte Murray fan, Killard. He's good, but I'm not really that big of a fan. And I think Jaime's got a lot of potential still left, even though he's an older prospect. I think his ceiling is not in sight yet.
I agree with that.
Right. If you're talking Donovan Mitchell and somebody, then yeah, now we're talking about changing the trajectory of what you can do in the playoffs. I don't know. These complex super trades they're not for me.
Yeah, so much has to go right.
But at the same time, people only try to do that shit to benefit the team that they actually.
That's a good point too.
So it's I don't really take much stock in going to what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm sorry,
man,
I was drinking water.
I'll trade Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn for anything.
That's right.
The money works for it.
That's right. Give me Lauri Markkanen for Kendrick Nunn right now, straight up.
Yeah.
Dallas up 23.
I love it. I can't wait to hear Bill Simmons' excuse.
And Killer, yes, that is kind of what it's hinting at. But at the same time, there's also 3 other teams that are involved in that trade. So it's what the fuck? That's where it's I don't understand why people waste their time doing that. Because it's never gonna happen.
There's people on the internet that legitimately think that they could do Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley's job better than them.
Yeah, I definitely. I could not.
And you're one of the more qualified people, frankly.
Andy Ellisberg is just a freaking wizard with contracts.
Yeah, the cap stuff is crazy.
It's crazy what that guy does.
But nah, man, it's all Pat Riley's fault.
That's right. It's all Riles' fault. He's only one of the winningest coaches / GMs in the history of the league. It's all.
People think they can do trade machine shit. You think you gotta get 2 sides to agree on that, or 3, or 4, depending on how many teams you're throwing in.
Not just that, actual basketball stuff, like chemistry and players meshing together, and getting the personalities to work. It's not 2K.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that if you got Donovan Mitchell, even with Jimmy and Bam, you still need stuff to go right to get that to really work. It's not like you would be the perennial favorite or anything like that. I don't think. Right?
No, you're right. Another question is Mitchell going to hold up? His health too. That's scary to me.
He's not the healthiest duck on the pond.
Nope.
Look at Luka.
The fact that this audience has grown, I just want to point out, you guys are basketball sickos, and I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, up to 25 people on a Friday night. That's what's up, y'all.
Shout out.
Somebody dropped a poll on Discord. if both dropping are there and Miami's on the clock, who would you prefer at 15, Dillingham or Ron Holland?
Ooh, man, is that a difficult one.
That's a really hard question.
Ooh, man.
You want to know the results of the poll so far?
Probably Dillingham.
No,
No.
but hold on. Let's talk this out.
There's only 5 votes.
Oh, okay.
4 go to Holland, 1 goes to Dillingham so far.
Let's talk this out. Adele, what would you do? And I'll give my take.
It's so difficult because Dill is such an explosive offensive player that his ceiling, like if he hits, he's one of those players that can just get buckets. But at the same time,
And he's also a good like secondary playmaker.
but that's what I mean. Offensively, he could do a lot for your team.
Yeah.
Just like explosive scoring, explosive playmaker. He could do so much. But at the same time, he's historically small, and he may just be out of the league in a couple, like 5 years, because he's
Buddy,
so
is he
small.
gonna get hunted?
Huh?
Buddy, is he gonna get hunted?
He's going to get hunted every possession. Yeah, every possession.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be much he can do about it because he's got a very small wingspan and very small hands. It's not like he's going to be like getting in the way. So like, you know, it's very difficult. And he's only 164 pounds. How much more muscle can you put on that frame? I don't know.
Listen, man.
And he's not Allen Iverson shifty either. So it's not like
I'll be fully honest. I'm not the biggest guy in the world. I'm about 6 foot.
yeah.
I also weigh about 165. When you weigh the same as me and you're almost the same size as me, that's a problem, dude. Again, I'm not a big muscular guy. I'm built like a twig. I'm deceptively strong, but I'm built like a twig.
I respect it.
That's a problem, man.
That
That's a
being
problem
s-
if you're-
yeah.
Like, I weigh about 165.
That was my playing weight in like middle school to high school. It was like 165. That's funny.
I played at like 150.
Jesus, Greg.
I was really, really skinny.
Yeah,
And I'm 5'9".
Wow. Yeah, 180 to 185 is what I did in college. But like, yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, wow.
Luka's 25 points in the first half is the most ever by a Maverick, surpassing Dirk.
Wow. I would have never have guessed that one.
Ron Holland without shoes is about 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan.
Yeah, I'm leaning Ron Holland myself.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to.
Even though
Seems
he
like
can't
more of a
shoot,
heat pick too.
or at least he hasn't
Right.
shown that he's able to shoot. I don't know about what you saw, Adele, but like when I did watch tape on his mechanics, I was never like, "Oh my god, this is gross and disgusting."
You're talking about Holland?
Holland, yeah,
Yeah, when he gets his feet set, but that's his problem is that
yeah.
his motion isn't always repeatable. He sometimes leaning left, sometimes fading away, sometimes going right for no reason at all either. He's 6'8".
Yeah,
No, I get what you're saying.
but I don't know. It felt like whenever I did watch Dillingham, though, even though he was small,
Yeah.
offensively speaking, at least, and again, this just speaks to how good he is offensively. Like, he felt like he played bigger than he was, but then
Right.
he gets on the defensive end on the floor, and he either just isn't concentrated enough, or like his discipline's awful. Like, he fouls way too much, and I think that's a byproduct of his height and size.
Right.
But there's just times where he just, like, he would have like a bad shot contest, and he would get baited or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like the discipline, like mental lapses that I think hurt him a little bit. And that's where I get worried about him as like an NBA player, because like, yes, there are players that have been successful at his size, like Kemba Walker, for example.
Right.
I almost said Kemba Young, Trey Young too, even though they're different, they're different caliber of players, like how good they were, but like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of skill set, that kind of size, height, you know, like they're similar to some extent, but they get hunted on the defensive end of the floor. It's got to be no different with Rob Dillingham. Like, if you're in a playoff series, not saying the team that drafts him will be in a playoff series, but like, I think he has to go to like a good team with like a really good defensive infrastructure, and that's where Miami could fall into place. But there's still going to be that problem because Miami dealt with that with Nunn, they dealt with that with Hero, and like they masked that to some extent, but it was still kind of annoying.
Yeah, and the thing about Kemba Walker was he was probably the shiftiest stop-start side-to-side guy that had been in the league for a very long time. Like CP3 was probably the guy before Kemba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like CP3, then Kemba, and before that, people like AI and Van Exel and people like that. But Van Exel wasn't even that small.
Does Dillingham have a lot of bust potential to y'all? Like,
Yeah.
could he be Ty Lawson? Like,
Yeah.
could that be how that goes?
That's the thing. He very well could be because he's just so historically small. I don't know, man. That's tough. But he could
I
also.
think he can score enough and can create enough to where he's not like a bust.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's a better shooter than Ty, though, too.
That's true.
Yeah. And like with Dillingham, he's got that shit on a string. Like his handle's so good.
It is, but it's not the. See, this is the thing I think people don't realize. It's not the same as Kemba Walker, CP3, Allen Iverson on a string. I don't know if you understand.
Well, yeah.
But like
Yeah,
the side-to-side lateral stuff. He's more of get downhill in a quick as a hiccup. That's the kind of stuff he does.
Yeah.
Like the best way I can describe it is like a running back that's a one cut, one move and go running back. That's how Dillingham plays point guard. Like he's one move, blink he's here, blink he's there, he's gone. But not really the side to side creation of space. Like he doesn't do that as much.
Who's a better downhill threat? Isaiah Collier or Dillingham?
Ooh.
I think Collier.
Collier's built like a freaking box truck.
Yeah.
That's what right. That's
Like Dillingham's explosive though too. That's a close one. That's a close one. For different reasons.
I'll give Collier.
Yeah. Collier is just built like a box truck, but he plays a lot below the rim too. He doesn't he's not an above the rim guy. But he's just so crafty. He's got a really good feel for finishing in the lane.
I'll be real interested if they take a small guard. What was that, Matt? Go ahead.
I was gonna say you get Collier going downhill, have fun stopping him.
Without fouling him,
If you take a small guard, I think it's just a big indication that there's big changes coming. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense otherwise.
Other than McCain, because of his shooting ability, and he's 200 plus pounds, he's almost two. What is he? 180, 198, 200, something like that. He's like 205. I gotta look it up. But McCain's shot making ability and rebounding, and he's got way more playmaking potential than what he showed at Duke. I'm really intrigued by Jared McCain as a prospect. Like
He's
that's
probably going to be there when Miami picks.
Probably, yeah, probably. But then again, it just depends on what direction they want to go. Like you said, it's going to be a big indicator. Because if they pick a small guard, that backcourt is going to be different by the trade deadline.
Correct. Exactly.
They got to know by now? Maybe. Or maybe they're still talking to GMs and filling everybody out.
Listen, no one knows what they're gonna do until it's a lot of like they're weighing pros and cons probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can have a decisive answer because there's so many different factors that you got to account for. Because like we haven't even gotten to free. I mean, obviously the draft is before free agency, but they probably had conversations on what they want to do in free agency, but that doesn't mean everything's going to be executed properly.
Right.
which is the interesting part. That just speaks to your guys' like direction, like what direction to go.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I get what you're saying, Collard, but like in this draft, having multiple picks, would you rather have them this year or a different year? You know, like
I was gonna bring up that exact point. Like, man, I mean, I do because I am higher on like the mid tier guys. So I do think there's plenty of like role players. But
for sure. Yeah, I get that.
I almost would want like if I traded back, I would almost want like a future first instead of.
Absolutely, future first, or even, you know, an extra second this year to go with that future first. You know.
That's
Yeah,
why
right,
the
well,
idea
yeah,
of Hero
right.
for 2 picks in this draft never made sense to me. Like that, I think Eternal threw that out there with Utah. I don't see it.
Well, he was saying like move up to 10. It's like okay, maybe I get that, but the next one where it was like you're trading back to 24 and 25. That's where I'm like, okay, maybe I could talk myself into that, but at the same time, I'd rather just take one of their picks and then a future first, even though that future first is probably going to be a bad pick.
So let's have fun with this. If they did move up to 10, who do you take?
That's tough because the top is so uncertain at this point too. Like
Right.
the way Atlanta's playing that game of we love Donovan Clingan, and then the people below them are going, well, we love Clingan too, so you can't trade back now. And you know what I mean? Like there's so much gamesmanship going on. It could go like 900 different ways. I can tell you this: if freaking Salawan's there, if Tajden Salawan is there, you take Tajden Salawan at 10 in a heartbeat.
Dan asked, do you really think 10 to 14 would be that much better? No, I don't.
I don't think Connect is going to be there. I think Connect goes in like the top 8.
Someone like San Antonio.
Yeah, because they want to get good now.
What
Not
if
just
Cody
now,
Williams
but
is there at
straight.
15?
Oh, maybe. I mean, he's talented. Here's a
I
better
actually
one:
threw it
Cody
out in
Williams
one
or
of my
Ronald
other-
Holland.
I threw it out there in one of my other chats.
Ooh, that's tough.
That if I were San Antonio, I would go with. Again, this might be just being subject to my own board, but I would go with Castle and De Silva at 4 and 8.
That's really high for De Silva.
It is, but I would do it. I don't know, man. Him next to Wimby.
I don't know, man. That's tough because you're passing up some great talent.
There's also like who else is out there. That's.
I mean, you're talking about potentially after Castle. You mean like at 4?
Yeah.
Jeez, you're talking about Raja Share could slip. You're talking about, who else is not with Dalton Connect? Like
If he slips to, I'm saying in the in my head, I'm guessing he goes in like the 5 through 8, or maybe in the 2 or 3.
yeah, but let me ask you this: Would you take Tristan Da Silva over Dalton Connect?
No.
No.
Probably not.
Exactly. This is why you can't have Da Silva that high. There's too many good players like that in that part of the draft.
Mr. Jawa says
Again,
this
I also think he
offseason
goes
is about.
4-8, but he sounds like he could go top.
Da Silva?
I don't agree with Jawa where he says that it's Laurie or Mitchell trade or anything else and we've given up on competing. I do not agree.
This organization doesn't give up on competing. They don't. They may have had that in between year where they didn't have any moves they can make and they ran it back with, Whiteside in the crew, but they still were trying to win. This organization doesn't do that. That's why I love them. They're like my Pittsburgh Steelers. We do not tank.
This is true. Can you believe that the Dolphins had an inside track on Mike Tomlin once upon a time and went in a different direction?
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Did they interview him?
I don't remember exactly the way the story goes. I'd have to ask the 3 yards per carry guys on their Discord. Maybe they can give me a clarification there. But I think that they just didn't think Tomlin was ready or something like that, so
That's
they went with a different guy.
Crazy. So you know how it happened in Pittsburgh, right?
No.
They had 2 in-house guys. Russ Grimm's a Hall of Famer, offensive lineman. He was in the running to supplant Bill Cowher. And they just they heard about Tomlin and they invited him in for an interview. And they were like, yep, that's the guy. One
That's
interview.
crazy.
That was it. Yeah, nobody inside of Pittsburgh had any idea who Mike Tomlin was. And nobody thought he had any snowball's chance in hell to actually get the job. And he blew out that interview out of the park.
Mr. Jawa says there's no path to competing for a title without you, because then there's
I've heard Mr. Jawas twice. What's going on here with Mr. Jawas?
I'm just reading his message from they just put
Oh, gotcha.
I started reading and then I read it in my own head.
There's so much parity in the league that if you're healthy and your team clicks, it can go a long way in any of these runs. And so I'm not willing to just say that they have no shot at it, but they do need to reshape the roster. There's no doubt they can't bring this team back.
Right.
So I'm with everyone there, but I think that you were so close to a different path, and your path can be what gets you through certain series and certain moments, etc. So I just think it's crazy to think that they have no chance.
Well, yeah, especially too whenever you're talking about what does a healthy Jimmy Butler do in a series where they took one from Boston without him. You know what I mean?
Different Boston animal, though.
Doesn't matter. He changes when he's in the playoffs, and he played the way he played in the playoffs. He changes the trajectory of your team.
Yeah, especially if he's really playing.
I was gonna say, this year's Jimmy ain't changing.
We don't know that because we didn't get to see if he was going to, because he got injured in the play-in. We have no idea. I agree with what you're saying. If we got the Jimmy we saw in this regular season, no, he's not. He wasn't changing anything. I get it though. I get it, but it definitely has to change. I think Tyler needs a change of scenery. I just think that's run its course.
Complementary pieces.
Yep. He was reportedly too hip-hop for the Dolphins. Look at that headline.
Yeah, that's what Ethan said. That's correct.
2011. Wow. He's too hip-hop. If you've ever talked to Mike Tomlin, right? So I was an intern with the Steelers in the marketing department when Mike Tomlin was there. And if you ever just talk to him, even for a brief moment, there's nothing that in his way of delivering information to you would come off as hip-hop. He likes hip-hop, but nothing about the way he delivers information to you comes off as hip-hop. So
yeah.
That when you say he's that feels more of a racial undertone.
100%.
It is a racial undertone.
It is.
Yeah.
It's complete unconscious or conscious bias. Not quite sure, but
Which is it's just very odd. I've had instances in my life where I've been denied things due to racial issues. However, nobody's ever come to me and said, you're too hip hop. It's just such a weird thing. especially at an organizational level, to like have that come, like that's just bizarre. But some foreshadowing to the Brian Flores stuff, maybe.
Could be. Would not put it past him.
Because that guy can coach his butt off. I mean.
Hey, listen,
That
I'm
guy.
a Vikings fan. That dude coached his ass off last year.
What
I appreciate it.
what he did, and I know this isn't an NFL podcast or broadcast, but what he did for your middle linebacking core in Minnesota with an undrafted inside linebacker being your most prominent piece was absolutely magical. Like, it was unreal what he did.
He did wonders in the secondary as well.
Oh, he's
What a lob.
an outstanding coach. He's outstanding.
Yeah, Dallas is going to get this one.
I love it. I love it. Just to keep you guys up to speed on the poll on my YouTube channel.
Oh, whoa. Daniel Gafford, what a block.
I like it. That's what Gafford does. 60% said no. The Mavs were not getting swept tonight.
Oh,
There you go.
The chat
They
knew.
knew.
The chat knew.
them closing it out in Boston, though, in front of their fans.
Did Jalen
Yeah.
Brown airball that right-handed layup? I'm just making sure I saw that correctly.
Oh, look at this that was just shared.
Ooh. Interesting. That's the one thing Gafford can do is block some shots, man.
LeBron trying to get leverage. I'm just kidding.
That would be crazy if that's who they ended up getting.
That would be kind of wild. Hey man, players hang out with good players have relationships with people, so I'm not putting too much into it. From different organizations, I mean. Like,
Look at Sean pulling up in the chat. He's lurking. Sean's a lurker. Celtics in 6. Is PJ Washington an example of a player who is miscast as a big and not a big wing?
Yep, that's a pretty good example.
Didn't he play like the four in Charlotte though?
He did. He played a big in Charlotte, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He was miscast.
Oh well, I guess it depends on the context, but I don't consider like a four big. I guess it just depends. Maybe I'm too like Spo poisoned.
Yeah. Spo is has and again we're not talking strictly positional value, but we're talking players that fit into those big roles. So like in a Spo system, yeah. He definitely would be a big in this system. Because it's all you got. Who else do you have?
Sean asked an interesting question here. Why would you allow yourself to get photographed if you're LeBron and Nick Nurse? Isn't that tampering?
It feels like tampering, yeah. It feels like they're savvy enough to understand that also. So, like, it had to be purposeful.
So maybe Sean's calling bullshit. Is that what you're doing?
There was a reply, but I didn't read it.
It's one of those blurry... Oh, he calls bullshit. There we go.
Where did the photo come from?
AI. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, is there a link? Like a
Yeah, well, somebody to a tweet
well,
with a photo.
I need a link to an article of some reporter backing this up.
Right.
What Philadelphia did to Allen Iverson in terms of putting players around him is criminal.
I know. Remember those teams? Eric Snow, Aaron McKee.
Yes, I do. I liked Aaron McKee, actually. Just
Tyrone
For some
Hill
reason.
was there for a while, right?
yeah. Matt Geiger.
Yep. Dikembe,
Over the hill, Dikembe, though.
Theo Ratliff.
Theo, that was it. Theo Ratliff, yeah. Todd McCullough. What did I call him, Sean? I said McCullough. Did I call him the wrong name? Maybe I did. Don't get concussions, kids. They're bad for you.
Huh. I think McDice. I don't know if he was in Philly. I know he was in Detroit.
I like Theo. Theo Ratliff was a good one. You talk about somebody that could block shots.
Yep.
I mean, if they would have put like just shooting around him, oh my goodness. Denver, McDicer, Tyler Hero. Oh man, that's never gonna get old. I heard that Grant Hill had said that when he went to Phoenix, because he was transitioning out of that era, like the Jordan era, right, where you needed to be heavier, that contributed to a lot of his ankle issues, and that when he went to Phoenix, he discovered yoga and endurance, like resistance training, really like changed his career, because like a lot of that heavier weight and muscle mass like really ruined his career. I wonder, I need to speak to a fitness guru to see if there's any truth to that.
I bet there is.
I felt the same way. That's how I leaned when I heard it too.
Grant Hill was nasty when he was young. I mean,
Oh yeah,
so good.
the Piston years for sure.
Yeah.
Because whenever they put him and McGrady together on the Magic, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. Yeah, that's an underrated player in the NBA. Underrated player. The people don't really realize how good he was in his prime. T-Mac was lean his whole career. What are we talking about, Donut Dan? T-Mac was never heavy. Ever.
No, he just had baggy shorts on.
That's right.
T-Mac had some years on Orlando where they would run literally every possession through him.
Oh, yeah. What he did in Houston was incredible.
Yeah.
If you could pick one player to not be hurt for his career for basketball enjoyment, it would be Lynn Bias.
Oh man, that is.
Come on, man. I thought you were gonna say like Derrick Rose or some shit.
Nah, it'd been Lynn Bias.
I
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
would say
yeah.
Alonzo.
Walton's a good one, even though I wasn't.
Or no,
obviously not.
I'm gonna go Chris Bosh.
Ooh. Now we're getting into the Heat feels. Yeah, that'd have been great.
Sean says Tyler Hero.
Of course he did.
Wade is an interesting one, even though it's like he still was great. If you think about if he never had to deal with injuries, what that would have meant for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for this current era, this Jimmy, he just didn't get hurt in those playoffs. Again, not his fault.
Sean Livingston's a good one. That's a great one, actually. He was way more explosive than what people got to see in the NBA because of his injuries. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think my pick, though, like from a basketball perspective, would be Derrick Rose.
I'm still picking Lynn Bias.
From what I saw as a kid. Yeah,
Brandon Roy is another one.
Brandon Roy was fun to watch.
He was cold.
He was a killer. He was in that mold of killers. When you talk about players that you knew when it was winning time, that Greg Oden. All right.
No, never reached.
Nah. That's all right, Ryan. You knew. See, we know you know ball, Ryan.
Wow, I don't know ball.
Wayne Simeon.
Ben Simmons says Bronx.
Better jump shot. Ben Simmons or Michael Kidd Gilchrist?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons or Tyler Hero. That's what Sean's gonna put.
Of course, you read his mind. Wayne Simeon.
He didn't work out. They thought he was a surefire player that would have worked out for them, and did not happen. Penny is a good one, Adrian.
Ooh, that's a great one. Penny's a great one. Imagine if Penny and Shaq never broke up,
Right.
and Penny stayed healthy. How is NBA history different?
Orlando would have had a lot more up in the rafters.
No doubt. Is there any more mind-boggling meltdown mentally than Nick Anderson?
No, it was never the same after those damn free throws.
It's incredible how poor of a shooter he became from those free throws. Like, it's just incredible. He was like an 88% free throw shooter.
Yeah. No, I remember feeling like it was like Glenn Rice being at the line and all of a sudden not being able to hit free throws out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't expect it from a high 80s to low 90s percentage-wise guy.
Absolutely. You guys are making me go through my NBA Rolodex here of names.
Sean with the guilty confession.
Hey, those Orlando Magic starter jackets were nice though.
I had a Hornets one, I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody in the 90s had a Hornets jacket though. Everybody. I get it.
I used to love buying jerseys and starter jackets and shit like that. I wasn't as stringent where I got to an age eventually where I couldn't wear anything but the Heat.
I like it. I like how you evolved. I like it.
That's how I am nowadays. But when I was younger, I would be more willing to wear stuff that wasn't my team specific. Not that I have a problem with people who do, I just don't personally.
Oh,
I mean, that was easily a foul.
nope. No Yankees gear ever, Ryan.
Oh, I got some.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't buy jerseys. I bought one Steeler jersey in my entire life. That's about it. I'm cheap. What can I say? I look at the cost and I'm like, nah.
I changed my hat for the people.
What'd you say?
I changed my hat for the people.
Ah, there you go. I hear you. Bronx Bombers. Here's my problem with baseball. And the Bronx Bombers specifically. Is it really fair
alright,
if there's no salary cap?
Where are you going with this?
Well, there's no salary cap in baseball.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can buy a team.
Exactly. You can buy championships. I can just outspend you.
I mean, isn't that what the Dodgers have been trying to do?
No, that's the Dodgers.
Exactly. That's always been my problem with baseball. It always just irritated me.
There should be. Hey, listen. I'm not gonna go on my crap about being more mad at teams who don't spend as opposed to ones.
I'm mad at both because I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan because I'm from Pittsburgh, and we don't spend at all.
That's again. You get them. You get the Cleveland Guardians. You get the Oakland A's. Soon to be Las Vegas A's.
Is that a Cleveland's name?
Millionaire
I haven't
owners,
watched
not
baseball in
ones.
forever. They're called the Guardians now.
Yes.
Ah, it's better than the Commanders.
Like the Orioles were a team that just like the Angelos family like sold I think the majority, if not all of their ownership
Whoa,
to a new group, and the Orioles actually started spending. And now
nice.
they're one of the best teams in the American League and one of the youngest teams in the American League.
Which leads me back to my point. You can just buy championships.
Hey man, I'm not gonna fault a team for spending. There's luxury
It's
tax
not
penalties that come with it.
Yeah, is there though? Not like the NBA. There needs to be a salary cap, just like the NFL.
Nah, only a salary floor, my friend.
Wake me up.
Yeah, you still call them the Washington. football team?
Me too, Greg. I don't know how I didn't mean to bring us down this road.
Again, how long are these commercial breaks? Yeah.
I've never seen a team struggle to rename themselves. Yeah, it feels like the Commanders wasn't really like a consensus. We gotta
Yeah.
pick something. Fine, the Commanders. Pick that.
Like a 5-4 vote where the 4 was just like anything else.
Right. That's exactly it. Oh, man. It felt like somebody was playing Madden and just created a team and like the computer assigned you a name. That's what,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like.
Like those, like I don't know if y'all played like NCAA football, but like whenever you do like the Road to Glory and just random ass high schools with random ass names, like that would be.
That's right.
Oh,
The biggest blowout in NBA Finals history is 42 points.
come on,
let's
Dallas,
go.
give us something.
Yeah.
Hang your hat off.
I want to see history. That's right.
Yeah.
Could be foreshadowing for the history of the first team to come back from being down 3-0.
Oh, it would just be beautiful if that really happened.
Oh my god.
I bet 9.5 both sides. Sean is winning. Ooh,
Oh.
get that out of here. I love seeing guards block shots. I'm not biased or anything.
Kind of like that Dwayne Wade guy.
Oh, I loved watching Wade block shots. Loved it. Only him and Jordan, man. Wow. You
Yeah,
talk about
great timing.
impeccable. Those are the two, like him and Jordan. Like those are the two guards.
Jordan coming from behind and blocking dudes was like a regular occurrence.
His weak side shot blocking was unreal. And in his early years, like the early Jordan years, first couple of years in the league when he was winning like defensive player of the year, he was blocking, like he was coming over on the weak side. So not even from behind. Like people just didn't realize how high his vert was, and he was just tossing people's shots. It was crazy. You see, Miami Heat fans, this is what a functional big does for your team. I'm just saying. Derek Lively.
Khalil Ware is not that guy.
Definitely not. Oh no, Sean! No, why? What are we doing, Sean?
Let's go.
Oh man.
Oh man, someone's gonna clip that. Don't, please don't. But someone's going. Sean in the chat knows what's up.
Functional. That's right. The key word was functional size.
Hey man, he was an Ace Player of the Year twice in a row. I'm just kidding. Say that with a straight face. As uses like as a justification for a draft pick.
Please don't put that on us.
Oh, you guys. You can say whatever you want as long as you sub to my channel. No, I'm just kidding. We're approaching another milestone. We're
If I'm being honest though, 16-year-old Matt, 15-year-old Matt wasn't very happy with the Bam pick because I was like dumb and stupid.
I mean, you could have left it as just young. You could have just said I was young.
But the two were true though.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Why isn't Sean on stage? This is hilarious.
Yeah, Sean, get on stage.
Right.
This is hilarious. That's right. Turning over his left shoulder is like a Lambo.
All the Heat fans in the network avoided tonight's game on playback like the plague.
Well, guess what? We're gonna have a game on Monday.
Take that for data. Peyton Pritchard's comedy, dude. Oh, man. Who do you think he was throwing the ball to? It's Luke Cornett.
Yeah, what did he think was going to happen?
Becky.
Who do they have on
What if
Luka?
Boston drafts Zach Edey, like if he falls to 30?
Did Missoula wave the white flag? Is he done? Like, is he just playing all his bench guys?
He is.
It's the third quarter.
Yes, but you're down 30 and you get 2 days rest anyway.
You're almost down.
It sends a
40,
bad
right?
message to your team. That's a really bad message to your team. Don't worry, guys. We got 3 more.
So the wrong mentality to play with because you could spark something at the end of this game that carries over.
You really could, man. Let Kyrie get going. You got Luka and Kyrie going next game. Have fun with that. That was almost another terrible pass by Pritchard.
Oh. Maybe they'll make me eat my words and they'll cut the lead by just hitting a bunch of threes.
You're trying to nuke Sean's 9.5 each way.
Right?
Okay.
Oh.
Wedgie.
Damn.
That's right. Me and Sean simpatico with that one.
Oh, look, now everybody's sitting down, so that's it.
Yeah, because they wave the white flag, so you're not going to run your guys into the ground either. You're going to be all right. Scott Foster did exactly nothing to impact this game. The game wasn't competitive enough for Scott Foster to impact it. Or any referee for that matter. Is that Dante Exum?
It is.
You talk about an ugly looking J, man. Woo. He somehow got it to work for him, though, over time. Like this year, he shot pretty well from 3 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a huge comeback type season this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Didn't he like break his leg? Like, isn't that what happened or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Playing off the ball, he's been found a role.
Wet like water.
Because he came into the league with Utah as a point guard, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, he was. A lot of hype and fanfare surrounded him as well.
Adel, what prospect can you look back on? Like you were higher on them than the consensus, and you were right about it. Just since you've been
Bilal
evaluating
Coulibaly, just last year.
Okay.
I know one for me too. Frank Kaminsky.
Oh, Frank the Tank.
I thought his offense was going to translate like a Olynyk on steroids type of player, and that just did not happen.
Well, no, I was saying like did happen. Like
Who did you have?
You were higher on the consent. You were higher than the consensus on a player, and you were right about it. Like if there was someone that you were like dead on.
Yeah. That's an interesting
I'm trying to think.
question.
I can't even think of one myself.
Yeah, I had Bilal Coulibaly 3 months out from the draft. Like, as soon as I saw him, like I was like, holy cow, this kid moves like a small guy. You know, it's one of those things with players, like the fluidity of a player, and then when you watched his game film and you watched it, like, whenever Wemby would have went out the game, Coulibaly played even better. Like, he always took the defensive assignments, guarded everybody tough, just as a kid that young. And yeah, that was actually my first video that blew up on YouTube, was because nobody knew who he was. I was like, oh, there we go.
It's interesting to see the views on some of your videos and what prospects like pop in terms of the numbers, you know?
Yeah,
I thought that I scrolled through there and found that interesting.
It is. You know, I've tried to understand. I'm a big analytics guy for like my corporate job, so I'm like become a bigger guy in basketball. Even though like playing the game and coaching the game, I'm less analytics driven in a way. But as far as the numbers on the videos, I've found it's more of this player looks interesting. I don't know enough about him. I want to learn more, is what makes some of those videos pop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Ulrich Chomchi, for example, like NBA Africa. I just think people were like, what is this name? Who is this player? Why should, what is this? And they click on it and then they see it and like, oh, this is interesting, and then they keep watching.
I would say last year, now that I'm just looking at it, a guy who I liked at least later in the pre-draft process, who at least made somewhat of an impact, was Ben Shepherd.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I was there with Ben Shepherd too.
Yeah, he was the guy that I liked.
But I'm trying to think if there's a bigger... I have a close friend who said Tim Duncan was going to be a bust. I never learned that down to this day.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I would hold that over his head all day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Never gonna
I mean, there were
forget.
guys that there's guys that I'm looking at right now. Again, it's just 1 year, but guys that are wrong about. I'll tell you that much. Like Anthony Black, I think I'm wrong.
Oh wow,
Dude.
Sean, that's an admission there. Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning.
yeah, that's I'll give Sean this. In fairness, he was a great prospect coming out of college, Ryan Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Was I on the fence about taking him over Peyton Manning? No, I wasn't there. I thought Peyton was going to be the better player, but you know, it's not crazy to say that at the time it happened. I'll tell you this, Matt. I couldn't stand Anthony Black's film. I was really.
Oh, I loved it. See, I think that's one of the disagreements that you and I loved Anthony Black.
Yeah. And the reason why I was not as big on Anthony Black was for a couple of reasons. One, his tape didn't wow me. Like, he didn't do anything just spectacular or great. His decision making to me wasn't great. And his shot was really poor. But what really did it for me is you pay attention to what the coaches think, right? And so in an NCAA tournament, it's everything for a coach's career. And in that tournament, there's Nick Smith Jr., there's Anthony Black, and there's Ricky Council. Guess who got the ball at the end of every game? For the last 5 minutes of the game, they put Anthony Black in a corner. He stood in a corner. And Ricky Council went to work, making everything happen. The coach trusted Ricky Council over Anthony Black.
Yeah.
And knowing Muss as much as I do, like his track record, that makes sense. There were just things that I liked about him. Like, I liked the defense, I liked the playmaking. Yeah, the decision making wasn't always great, but I thought he could learn. But the thing that I think I'm like, the context of the situation that he fell in wasn't good. Because he's on a team with plenty of non-shooters, and to our point earlier, plenty of guards.
Well, the best thing about Anthony Black's...
Like, I want to see him in a different spot, but I don't know. Because I don't know how much they're going to develop the former.
Well, but the best thing about Anthony Black's game is his passing. If he leaned into being a pass-first guard, he'd be a much better player. Use his size, get in a lane to draw and kick. He just doesn't do any of that. That's not his game.
All right, y'all. I got to sign off.
Have a good night, Greg.
Peace out.
Later.
All right, see you later, Greg. I'm just looking to see, like,
Sean. You love some Quintel Woods, huh, Sean? Hilarious. I like it.
I think maybe, I don't even want to say I was wrong on this guy. I just don't think he got enough run. Was it Colby Jones?
Interesting.
I liked him as like a late first. I know he went early second too.
That's an interesting one for sure.
I just think I thought he had a decent floor. Like, I thought he did a lot of things well.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
So I'm still holding out stock. I trust Sacramento.
Sean, who loved to do that more, Quintel Woods or Sean Kemp?
Here's a guy that I was wrong about. Because I don't know. There was just something about this guy in college that never like intrigued me all that much. Trace Jackson Davis.
Ah, okay. I like Trace, but I never. So I started my draft work really late last year, so I never.
Me too. Me too. But I did watch Trace a lot at Indiana, flipping through games and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I saw him a bunch, but when I did watch him, I was never like, I think this can be an NBA guy, or at least as good as he was this last year. Like, I never saw him as that in his rookie.
No, I don't think anybody saw him to be that guy. But I knew he was going to be able to play in the NBA because of how he moved at the size he was. He had that really nice in and out dribble for a big man that you never see big men do in college. And for your coach to have that much trust to let you do that over and over again, I really liked how he moved, his fluidity and his motor to rebound. Like, I really liked that. But I didn't think he was going to do what he did in his first year. Not even close.
I just thought, like, him being that size, not having the ability to shoot,
Right.
that's where my concerns mostly fell. And
What's
that's,
your-
I think, what I think I changed my mindset just by watching him in, like, the right context. Like, that's why I like Mogba. It's, like, not the same guy, but, like, I think Mogba's a little bit smaller.
He's 6'6".
Like an inch or two. Yeah. Or at least without shoots, yeah. To where it's like, okay, maybe there is a role for a guy with this kind of skill set.
Yeah.
If you get, but obviously you got to get in the right context. Why is Dude Perfect on my screen? The Dude Perfect guys.
Is that it? I don't know who that is.
Just look them up on YouTube.
Okay. Will do.
Dude Perfect. Like, yeah, they're like trick shots and shit. Trying to see if there's like any others that stand out to me.
I was wrong on Pod. Not that I thought he was going to be, he couldn't play at this level. I just thought he was a athletic liability, which I still think he is. And I thought his floater was very awkward. It came from very low on his hip, and I felt like he needed to really get that, motion started higher. And so I really wasn't high on him as most people were. I didn't dislike him, but I just had my concerns with his athletic limitations and his foot speed, so to speak. So he proved me wrong, and I'm happy for him. I hope he has a great career.
I'd say two guys. I mean, obviously, I said earlier. I don't know if you heard me. Prosper. I was so high on Prosper last year.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of Heat fans that were trying to tell me to, him over Jaime, and I was rejecting that like Mutombo. I was, Jaime to me was.
I was one of them. I'm just kidding.
It's okay. We all have misses, man. All organizations have misses. We all have misses.
Oh, another guy. I mean, I think I've heard a lot of stuff from, or like a lot of good things from fans of this team, because I do follow some of them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But Jarris Walker to Indiana.
Yeah.
I thought that was such like a slam dunk fit. I was like, this kid's gonna be like rookie of the year, or maybe not rookie of the year, but like I thought he was gonna be a really good player.
Right.
And he was more of a developmental guy in the G League.
Yeah, I wasn't high on him because he wasn't as big as, most people thought, and he was more of a finesse guy to me, and I didn't think his 3-point shot was good enough for having to be like, he was one of those guys that just didn't fit. He wasn't a big, he wasn't a wing, but so he'd have to develop off the the dribble game. He'd have to really develop his shot. That was always my thing with Trace Horace Walker.
Oh, I could tell you a guy that I felt right on. Late riser, but I liked him before that. But Jalen Williams.
Oh yeah.
2 years ago.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, he was. I mean, obviously he went 12, so like,
right.
Again, he was a late riser. It wasn't like he was end of the first or anything like that. But he was a guy that I liked a lot. I don't know, just the way he played at Santa Clara, like some of the stuff that I saw at the time.
Yeah.
I liked. Let me think of some. I'm trying to pull up some others.
Give me one.
A guy that I was wrong about because I didn't expect him to be like this bad. I didn't expect him to be great, but I thought he would have a much better floor than he had. Was Johnny Davis.
Yeah.
That was also weird because he had like one good Wisconsin.
Right.
So it was like, okay, how much of that's actually an aberration? But I thought he would be like a role player, at least by this point. And especially for Washington. It's just like, dude, you could just show up and get reps. Trying to think. Like, I'm looking at this other class.
I can tell you who I might actually end up as a potential miss on because I didn't scout him at all, haven't read him at all, haven't watched him other than the combine, and I wasn't impressed with him at the combine. Is Cam Christie?
Yeah, I haven't done enough on it.
And he just nothing he
Actually,
does
Miami's gonna
wows
take
you
it
at
in the
all.
second round. That's the guy Miami's going to take in the second round.
Watch it, watch it be him. Because his brother over in LA is okay. He's pretty good, but like, you know, just nothing stands out. He just does a little bit of everything, but nothing really good. It's not like
I like Max Christie, but in a bad spot.
Right. I mean,
I don't think it helped him out.
I mean, but if he so here's the thing with Christie though. If he can shoot, he should be able to play in that Lakers system because yeah, Dallas is up huge. It's insane.
I'm not even paying attention at this point.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, we're watching a 115-70 game in the NBA Finals. Is there a more Boston thing than this?
Please blow Game 5. That's all I'm going to ask.
Oh man, if they make it back to Dallas, or no, is this their second game in? No, this is their first game in Boston. No, I'm my brain. Don't listen to me. It's late. See ya, Donut Dan. Have a good night. That should be me.
One guy that I liked, as just like there was some upside to him was Kendall Brown.
Kendall Brown.
I don't think he stood out much yet.
Kendall Brown. Was he undrafted?
No, he was second round.
Second round guy. Kendall Brown. Where do you play college ball?
Baylor. 2 years ago.
Huh.
Oh, I could tell you a guy that I missed on because I thought this guy was going to be stud. As like like he had like a high floor. EJ Liddell.
Yeah. Okay, I can see how that could happen.
I was like, I think this guy can be like a legit role player. Nope. Because he was like, I was like, damn, he fell all the way to 41, or like, I mean,
right.
I'm looking at it now, I know it's 41, but at the time I was like, man, he felt like mid-second round, like, it's gonna be steal.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. But I mean, a lot of times too, when we look at players, like situation makes, you know, a big, you know, is a big part of it. Like, how many guys, for example, when Jordan owned the Wizards or, you know, the Charlotte Hornets now, how many of those guys that went there were going to ever develop into a real player?
Yeah.
Their development system just wasn't very good. So, like, you never know. You never know. Situation matters. Ryan says, what's the best case scenario as a comparison player for Bronny? I'll let you handle that, Matt. You can handle that.
I listen. Me and NBA comparisons go together like peanut butter and cheese.
I was gonna say I love some peanut butter. That's a tough one.
I was gonna say peanut butter and pickles, but I'm a weirdo. I remember watching a baseball player named Phil Hughes. He was like big, like peanut butter and pickle sandwiches, and I remember trying
what?
And I liked it a lot. So I was like, I was gonna say that, but I was like, wait, no, I actually like that.
Right. That's funny.
Because I'm a weird sicko.
You are. That is psychopathic behavior from you.
Listen, man, there's a blend. There's a blend that I like. I don't know. But I am a big peanut butter guy. So maybe that's my issue.
Peanut butter chicken's good. There's a good peanut butter chicken dish my brother made one time. It was actually pretty good.
That sounds good.
Peanut butter bacon sandwiches. Look at this guy.
Ooh, I like that.
How does a vegetarian eat bacon? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Turkey bacon, maybe? No, that's not vegetarian either. What are we doing here, Ryan? Are you trying to break my mind? Like, what is happening? How are you a vegetarian that eats bacon? I need answers. All right, cool. We're about the same age. I need answers. Oh, okay. In your former life. I get it. Your pre-vegetarian days. I gotcha. In your carnivore days. Can I say that?
One guy that I liked a lot that I don't think panned out due to a situation was Ty Washington.
That's a good point. Speaking of situation for current guys, Kobe White, does he continue to develop or has he hit his ceiling in Chicago?
Depends on if Levine's there or not.
So he can't develop further without Zach LaVine being moved.
Yes, because I think he needs the ball in his hands more.
He does. That's true. It's a good point. He does need the ball in his hands, and he is fast.
Like, I just want to see him get more reps as like a primary, secondary creator, like whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of where I want to.
I can see it.
Him grow.
What?
Like, I don't know if he's ever going to be like a point guard, but like him developing that playmaking, I think could be.
You literally read my mind.
Something that could happen.
Because that's what needs to happen. He needs to develop into not just a shooter and fast break guy, but into a playmaker to create offense for others. That's his evolution.
Yeah. And I think he could. Because I saw flashes of it, but especially if Lonzo's not playing.
Right.
I don't know.
I have a theory, and this isn't backed up by science, so maybe it'll be wrong. But I've always believed that flat-footed players that run flat-footed, are going to be injured more than most. And as soon as I saw Alonzo and his brother LaMelo, I always thought they were going to have injury issues because they run flat-footed. They don't run on their toes. It's just a theory of mine. I'm just saying. Always something that I've believed.
Also, I learned this the other day. Did you know LaAngelo Ball has a kid? And his name is like Lavello or something like that.
Oh, they're keeping the L's going.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is very interesting.
Ryan says Kyrie believes in flat feet. Ooh.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that,
flat
Ryan?
Earth.
What are we doing here? It's getting weird again.
Flat earther, man.
Oh yeah. That's right. Flat earther. That's right.
Yeah.
He believes that if you keep driving, you're just gonna fall off the earth.
Kyrie doesn't believe in flying from here to like Southeast Asia.
That's right.
Because he's just like, at some point, we're just gonna.
It's gonna fall off the map.
Yeah.
It cracks me up. I just find that so funny. It's so illogical. Like, I can't imagine believing in something so illogical. Like, it's it's hilarious to me. It's comedy.
Listen, man, I believed that shit when I was like 4 years old. Had the brain the size of an apple. But then I actually went to kindergarten.
And then I grew up.
Oh, yeah. So like, you look at a map, just like a flat like map on a piece of paper,
Right.
or on something, you're just like, man, how did they get from here all the way to here quick, fast?
Yeah, how does that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen? Oh, you mean it's not on a piece of? Oh.
Right.
Oh, okay.
How do we not just fly up into the air? How does this gravity thing work?
That was 6-year-old Matt discovering the Earth is round.
Centrifugal force? What? Crazy concept. I have no idea what that means, Ryan. It's above my pay grade. It just is comedy to me that he just thinks people would just fall off the earth into space. Honey, I'm going out for groceries. I'll be back. Ah!
Yeah, you're on like a certain part of the earth. You're like, if we drive 5 miles west, we're done for.
Oh, my side hurts. Oh, man. That's right, 5 miles due west. Don't ever go there.
Listen, man, if we're on the latitude longitude plan, like if you're 12 miles northeast or northwest, we're sunk. We're done.
Oh, man. All right, guys, we gotta quit. My side's hurting. Oh, God. Gotta stand up now. That's funny, man.
This game was off, but at least Dallas.
But I'm very pleased at the outcome. The outcome is what matters.
Correct.
Boston.
Maybe, listen, I'll wear this to Game 6, this hoodie and hat.
There we go.
Or Game 5. I'm already assuming there's a Game
Right,
6.
right.
That means they're gonna win in 5 by like 35.
Thanks, Bronx Joker. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate the love. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, so 12 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern.
Tomorrow.
Okay, I'm lost. I don't know if you knew this. I'm on the West Coast, and so
I did not know that, actually.
yeah, I always say Eastern, but I'm like, wait, that's different for me. I'll have like my morning coffee and shit. It'll be afternoon where y'all are at.
Give me 1 second. Give me one. I'm sorry, Matt. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Plug playback tomorrow.
Tomorrow, noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 West time, Pacific time. We will be doing centers on the playback. We'll be doing our draft preview. We usually would do these tonight. We usually be probably doing them right now or at some point tonight. Obviously, there's game 4. So we're doing it tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We want to do it earlier in the day so y'all could have a good rest of your day. Y'all ain't stressing about this or anything else. So come join us. I will have Zach Edey tape. I'm not going to do it. I thought about it. I did find a 20-minute long YouTube video of him just shooting free throws. I swear to God. I was going to play that. Maybe I just will play that for Eternal. Since he's not here tonight, since he didn't hear me say that. But I don't have that in the playlist right now. Full disclosure. But we will have a bunch of different centers. I'm not going to spoil all of them, but I will have Zach Edey there. I know y'all in here. I'm not avoiding that. So, thank you, Adel. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Ryan, for being in the chat. Bronx Joker, Donut Dan, Ryan, and everyone else who joined us tonight. Appreciate y'all. Go Mavs. At least they got one. But I don't think they're going to get another one. But that's a different discussion for a different day.
Absolutely.
See y'all later.
See you later, everybody. Don't forget Hoops Profile. Check it out. If you have any questions about any prospects, we'll see you tomorrow noon. Zach Edey for the win.
Hey, drop your channel link in the chat so people know where to find you.
That's right. Let me be a professional. That's good.
All right. See y'all. You could drop it in the chat.
Yeah, it'll stay there. It'll be fine. Have a good night. And that is it for me today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of our finals discussion with the 5 Reasons Sports crew on Playback.